Scream Outside live outside with Rock Quiz everyone. Woo! Rocktastic. Are we? I laugh at this, because you just have to. Sometimes you just have to laugh, right? It does seem kind of funny that every time I open my mouth and actually talk, that my hick internet. You know what I'm saying? You think there's a connection there? You think there's a connection there? I think so. Oh, God. It is humid. It's like, it's not even like in the 90s. It's like 85 and all that. And I'm like, I'm grip. I I bet you guys that at the Rinky Dink Telephone Company, which is our internet company, they're fooling around with the wires. Don't you think? Hmm? Hmm? I know the Rinky Dink Telephone Company loves me. I give them a lot of business. So anyway, let me So happy birthday to my mom. I want to tell you a little bit about my mother. You know, she deserves it, especially for putting up my shit and my addiction and stuff. You know, my mother and I went through hell and back quite a few times. Okay? And believe me when I say this, there's plenty of times where we were estranged, we hated each other, okay? We did a lot of bumping heads and all that. I even told my mom today on the phone, I said, you gave me a lot of tough love and I hated it. And she said, I know you did. But it made me the person I am today. And it actually saved my life. And I'm just going to put this out there. There's a lot of families out there that are dealing with addiction and alcoholism. And when they hear the suggestion, you gotta give them a lot of tough love, the addicts, the actively using addicts, alcoholics, whatever, they're like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that because, it's too hard on them. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. To wake them up. You know? You can't, sometimes you just can't be soft. Especially with a full-blown junkie. You know? And that's the difference between, my mother-in-law and my mom. You know, my mom almost lost me a few times. She lost a couple of her kids and a grandbaby. So that's why she enabled people in her family a lot, like Jason, like Ann, all right, and a few other people. That's how she dealt with things. But my mom, she had to deal with my father, right? He was an alcoholic. And she even told me, too, and a lot of my counselors said this, too, with me, that I'm lucky and she's lucky that she didn't end up to be an alcoholic. Because that's what happens. So she had to put up with a lot of shit from my father. And now she has to deal with her daughter, her only daughter. And she did feel guilty at first. And then she was in denial. She said, oh, not my kid. Oh, no. Not my daughter. And then when she found out the reality of the whole situation, she did blame herself. But then she went to tough love meetings. She went to Families Anonymous meetings. She didn't really like the Family Anonymous meetings that well. She loved the tough love meetings. And she actually ended up as a leader in tough love. But they don't have tough love groups anymore, I don't think. I think they have a lot of them in New Zealand still. But they don't have tough love meetings in the church that she went to. But she went on calls with this tough love group. Like out in the middle of the night. To support other parents going through the same thing she's going through. In the middle of the night. I thought, this is going to be a funny story. I told this to Jim. I tell this story to everybody. One night, I stole my mother's car. No, it was my grandfather's car. I stole my grandfather's car. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I know. Okay. How you doing, Flower? Or should I call you Candy? Just don't call you late for dinner. Alright? I know you are. I know. It's my mom's birthday today. Yeah. Well, let me give you a cyber hug, alright? You ready for this? When I'm out here and stuff, I give a lot of cyber hugs. And, it's a part of my stream now. So you ready? Here we go. A great big Jersey bear hug coming your way. I hope I didn't break any bones in your body. Or, no, I hope I didn't break any components with your cell phone. My mom, I'm going to tell you something. My mom, okay, she eats like a bird anyway. But my mom's thin, okay? And this is before I came here to Oklahoma and before she went into nursing home, whatever, right? But she felt like when you hugged her, it felt like I was hugging a bag of bones. She wasn't taking care of herself and stuff, in a way, but I'll tell her. I talked to her today and stuff, but thank you. She went through a lot with me. She really did. And I talked to her about it today. And this time the phone call was totally different. Like, I wasn't like very aggravated at the staff over there. You know what I mean? I actually made a grievance with the desk help there. Thank you. The Chinese insignia says live now. Oh boy, it's gonna be a full moon. Better watch it. I might turn into a crazy person. Yeah. Something you don't want to see. But yeah, today was totally different, and I sung happy birthday to my mom, and during the whole thing I said, thank you for all your tough love and what you've done for me and for my kids, and I wouldn't be the woman I am today without my mother's tough love. Her tough love saved me. Okay? There was times when I ended up in jail. She didn't visit me in jail. Okay? She didn't. Nope. She's like, nope, I'm not going to bail you out. Nope. And, and I hated my mother a lot in my addiction. Now that I'm on the other side of addiction and recovery, I appreciate what she's done for me. I'm grateful for what she did for me and my kids. Okay? And I feel guilty that she's in a nursing home, and I feel guilty because she's in a nursing home in Jersey. But she's in a good place. She's being taken care of and stuff. I shouldn't feel this guilty, but I do. Because, it's like my husband's mother, my mother-in-law died in that house. Okay? So when my mother-in-law died in that house, that whole house died. I don't care if there's a couple people living in it right now or whatever. They're all right. But I'm trying to say something. Because when I get that phone, and I hope I don't get the phone call soon. And I think that's why I have my phone off most of the time, because I don't want to hear that phone ring, and I pick up the phone, and then all of a sudden, well, she has a boyfriend. She flirts around with all the guys up there. Hi, Hayes. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for being here. I truly appreciate it. She is happy because she's around people. Well, she's not happy when she doesn't win that bingo, though. I'm rocktastic. She is, and the phone call to me today was like the best phone call we've had. Thanks for the hearts, phone hearts, right back at you guys. Well, there's something she said with this phone call, okay? She was diagnosed officially with onset dementia and onset early stages of COPD. Yeah, right. And so, thank you. I truly appreciate that. The next time I talk to her, I actually told her about my stream too. Like I'm helping others. I'm trying to get, community going. Whatever. She knows what YouTube is. She just doesn't get it where she's at. But yeah. So yeah. But the power of attorney, who's like a little brother to my mom, said that, "Hi, Cheese Crocodile, what's up?" How's it going? I'm trying, but she said something in the beginning of the phone call. Like she said, well, how did you get this phone number? And I'm like, what? Mom, I call you. I don't call her that much because of the guilt and all that stuff, but at least I get her gifts on like Christmas, and I try to give her stuff on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and all that stuff, okay? It's about the guilt, okay? Today, on my mother's 82nd birthday, I don't feel guilty. Maybe just a tad still, okay? No, I know. And I try not to. But if she ever, and I think, in the back of my mind too, it's like, say I call her, and the worst part is these people at the desk, I'm like, can I talk to my mother or whatever? And that's why I made a grievance against the person at the desk. It wasn't the same one today at the desk, but it was a woman that spoken broken English, Chinese, whatever, okay? And I was like, screw it, I'm calling these people with a grievance. And now they're really being nice to me. I wonder why. Anyway, so I don't want to call her one day, and this is my fear. I don't want to call her one day and say they give her the phone and stuff. And I asked, and talk about that too. I asked her, I said, well, do you have a phone in your room? She says, no. I said, what do you mean, no? I said, I paid $20 for it. See, that's how I get. So I have to call them up tomorrow and see if she actually has a phone in her room. Anyway, back to the story. I don't want to call her one day and I say, hi, Ma. And then she'll say, who is this? Who are you? Who am I talking to? Or whatever, okay? That will just crush me. Because my mother and I went through so fucking, excuse my language by the way, freaking much with my addiction and her raising my son and her raising the two kids together at one point in my addiction and everything else. That will just crush me. And I'm deathly afraid, and I mean deathly, oh my